Hello, everyone. Welcome to J Talk. Sorry you missed last week. Well, you didn't miss. We missed. I specifically missed. I fell off my bed. Jay,
Yeah.
you good there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I fell off my bed, broke my bone, broke my leg. But we're back. We're back for this week. When we are joined by the very wonderful AshleyAWoods. Ashley, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Jay,
Yes, sir.
you're making a lot of noise.
I don't see how. I have my headphones in. I'm like sitting still.
Well, just so you know. Sorry, go ahead, Ashley.
Oh, hey, no, yeah, so my name is AshleyAWoods, and I just had the A in there to try to separate from Ashley Wood. A lot of people ask me, oh, have you drawn Metal Gear? You know, so I put my middle name in there. But yeah, so I've been working on Niobe since last summer, and came here to talk about that. Issue 3 is on the horizon, so I wanted to promote that as well as a few other side projects.
Awesome. Well, before we get right into that, I would like to thank everyone for joining us. This is a live broadcast. This is the first time we've done like a truly live broadcast where we shared it. Usually we record it and then upload it, so thank you all for joining us. Jay, would you like to introduce yourself really quick, though?
Hello. If you don't know me by now, I'm sorry. I'm dealing with technical difficulties today. From being a Transformer voice to Tron to Megatron, my internet is extremely slow. But thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate you guys for coming out to the J Talk podcast as always. And we're looking forward to another great episode with another great creator.
Yeah, awesome. Couldn't be more excited. Let's dig right in. So, Ashley.
Yes.
You said you make a comic called, it's a comic, right, Niobe?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit of backstory behind that?
Well, I was supposed to work on Niobe as a cover artist, and after meeting Sebastian and Amandla at a convention called BCAF, or Black Comics Arts Festival in San Francisco. This is January 2015. After I met them at that convention, over the next few months, they decided to ask me to draw all of the interiors in addition to the covers. So I've been working on that series since July, and the third book comes out June 1st. And so for people who don't know what Niobe is, it takes place in the world of Asunda. Asunda is like a very dark fantasy type of universe. And Niobe is it's almost like a spin-off series from The Untamed, which SebastianAJones also wrote. And so you first meet Niobe in The Untamed, and then you see her backstory and everything in her own series, Niobe. And so at this point in Niobe 3, she's on the brink of war with her clans people and an orc named Morkamoa who's been hunting her. He's an agent of the devil, and so he's trying to claim her life. So you get to see her prepare for that battle in issue 3, as well as some inner conflict among her tribe and friends or gang. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, awesome. And what's it like working on it? Like, what's the environment? Because you said this is kind of like a diversity project kind of thing, like, right? Like, if you don't mind me talking about this, like, it's you went to a Black creator meetup, right?
Yeah. Even though it was called the Black Comics Arts Festival, they had other, people from other nationalities there displaying work. So even though Niobe takes place in a fantasy universe, some of the themes can cross over to real life situations and aspects, such as I don't want to say racism. That seems a bit too dramatic, but topics related to racism. So you have different societies who have to find a way to live together and share share the world in Niobe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people who hate each other just for the fact they are what they are. And we see stuff like that, in our waking life every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a comparison right there to see how those people tackle those issues in the story.
Mm-hmm.
But first and foremost, it's just a fantasy story. So, um,
No, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a really cool idea. I like the concept behind it. Jay, is there something you wanted to say?
Would you say that its existence or foundation is based off of the messages and themes that you guys want to tell in the story?
yeah, definitely. It's definitely rooted in those themes. Um, but you don't want to come across too preachy. And you don't want to shove certain things down people's throats. I think, speaking as a black person myself, and Niobe is being black, I think her just being who she is, she makes certain points. Um, you know, um, everybody tries to judge you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be very diplomatic or how to put this. I don't want to come out too strong.
I mean,
Well,
there's like
from what I
there's
read, it seems like it was about her being free and freedom of her own choice and being her own person, her
Yeah,
own thoughts and opinions and stuff.
yeah, her life is at risk constantly. She has, lots of people hunting her, including her own father, who's the king of the land. And so, even still, she has this strong willpower and this fire in her core. She would not be made into a weak person. And she never complains about her circumstances. And that's what I was trying to say it, earlier, just now, that she really doesn't have to go out and say and make a point verbatim, like, I am here, I am strong, or, hear me roar. It's not like that. The fact that she is what she is, people are going to pay attention and judge her, the fact that
mm-hmm.
she's black. And so she can just go about and live and do what other nationalities do, whatever those people do, but because she's black, I feel like people they put more emphasis on it. If you get what I'm trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
people watch her closely, more closely than say a non-black character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree. There's not a lot of like big main black characters that star on their own comics currently, or at least not like star alongside an ensemble. And she stars as like the main lead, correct?
Yeah, yeah, it's her story. And
Mm-hmm.
you know,
So,
she,
oh, go
hmm,
ahead.
so,
Oh, go
you
ahead. I was gonna say, so what's it like working on Niobe? Like, what's that life like working on a professional comic like that?
um, it's a lot of fun. It feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always drawn fantasy type stuff. Started with my own independent series long ago. So it definitely felt like a natural transition. If anything, some of the challenges include longer hours. I was already working long hours, being an independent freelance artist, and um, working on a nationally syndicated book. The deadlines are tighter. The pressure is more intense. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but I think as long as you just stay focused and you break it down and you break it down into simple mathematics, like if I don't do this, then this won't happen, then you'll be fine. And like if you can't figure out how to get something done, you just take a step back, breathe, 'cause there's a way to maneuver every situation. So I think I'll tell you the way I told a friend a few months ago. They told me like, you seem happier nowadays. I know you're happy because of Niobe. And I told them that I had to work on myself as a person before Niobe came into my life. So if I didn't work on my mindset and my spirituality, then I wouldn't be able to tackle a project, of this caliber. So
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I can't say it's easy. It's definitely not easy, but just stay focused. You can't just distribute your energy properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, time management I think was the big one. Again, I mentioned this earlier before the show, but we did a podcast with Joe St. Pierre, and one of the things he talks about, I think it was him we talked with it about, but he says time management. That's the easiest way to mess up.
Right. Yeah, because when I first started working on Niobe, some other of my artist friends who actually work in the industry, they was telling me like, look, whatever you do, don't miss your deadlines. That's all you got to do is keep up with the deadlines. So that's why I just focus on, and they know more than I do. So all I can do is go off of their tone. The tone says it all. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, there's
serious.
trouble. Yeah, no, there's a lot of trouble from what I heard missing deadlines in the industry. So what is the biggest challenge you face as like an independent creator in this environment then, if you don't mind me asking? Like you make Niobe, it's not gonna obviously like the big problem with comics is that diversity is this big thing we're trying to fix. And so what's it like what's the big problem you face with that? Like do you find that being a stumbling block or something that motivates you?
It's a little bit of both. Um, Without going into too much detail, there was a project I was connected to, and the previous artists, um, they were also black, and they dropped the ball. And so since that happened, the project was canceled, and it's basically turned into one of those situations where if one, as black people, if one of you is judged, then everyone is judged, accordingly. So I wasn't mad. I was disappointed, but like you said, I just took it as a challenge. Like, okay, I already know life isn't fair, and I've accepted that. So, like I said earlier, everything can be maneuvered. So you just figure out what you have to do to maneuver that situation. Um, it is what it is. So that's a challenge that I faced. Other than that, it's been pretty peaceful, for me. I have work offered to me. People are interested.
Mhm.
I'm taking them up on that work, and I just present it when it's ready. And yeah, I don't know if I could say I just been lucky or what, but nothing serious has happened. You know.
No, that's awesome. That's exactly what you want to hear, right? Like you don't want to have all these big problems happening and occurring and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm pretty low key though, so yeah.
Jay, is there something you wanted to add?
I think Jay got ejected.
Is Jay here? Man, the poor guy. This is like the worst. I've never seen it this bad for him. I'm so sorry. Oh, there he is. Jay, you back?
You hear me?
Yes, we can.
I've been talking the whole time. My
Oh,
bad. Well, what I was trying to say earlier was that when you were talking about trying to feel like the viewpoint of when you're working now, it starts to feel more like something you were destined to do. It doesn't feel like work anymore. It just feels like a part of life, a part of existing that makes it easier for you to maneuver, especially when you've already taken the time to work on yourself. I think that's a very key thing for a lot of people is that when work starts to feel less like work and become more enjoyable or something that you can just focus on to better yourself, it makes it better all around in the end.
yeah, definitely. And also, you have to be a person that knows how to recognize moments, not moments, but opportunities. Sometimes you can get so caught up in what you're doing with your work, and things start moving really, really fast that you just want all you want to do at one point in your life you want everything to come your way, and then when it does, you just want to focus on one thing at a time, and
Hmm.
it just goes back to time management. Sometimes people don't even take up those opportunities, for whatever reason. Sometimes they're blind to them. You'd be surprised, and I'm speaking from experience. I had to become more self-aware and like take a step back and just think like, whoa, I almost overlooked this and that. Good thing I reached out to this and that person. Um, you
Yeah,
just
for
got to
sure.
be in the moment.
Yeah, no, you gotta kind of just like seize the day. If it's there, it couldn't be. It might not be there tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen the way you foresee it in your mind. Jason was just talking about knowing when you're meant for something. And I've always felt like I was meant for art because it was a natural thing, ingrained in me. I couldn't explain it. It's just what I felt ever since I can, remember. Um, so I always knew that I was going to be an artist, but it's not happening the way I thought it would. That's not a good or bad thing. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that's the way things go. Things rarely go according to how you foresee them in your mind.
Hmm. I mean,
Uh,
some would argue, myself included, it's a good thing it happened, regardless of whether it happened how you wanted it to. The fact that you have started, you said I'm gonna make art for a living, and you said I'm gonna draw, I'm gonna, whatever I want to do. You set out, you set a goal, and you've kind of reached that goal. You're working on Niobe, you've worked on other projects, you're a freelance illustrator, like you've met that goal.
mhm. Right.
Yeah. And that's the important thing. Is sometimes you don't even realize you're there. Like I remember when I finished my first chapter one, I was like, "Oh, that's not how I expected that to go at all." It took me a second before I realized I just finished a chapter one of something, like a fully illustrated comic. And I was like, "Whoa,
If I
that's
could
not like."
piggyback off of that in general, what a lot of people tend to miss is the entire journey. You don't- you realize you focus on the end, you focus on the end game, and then when you get there, you're like, oh, that wasn't what I expected. It's like, yeah, well, you reached the goal, great, but you're forgetting about the entire journey behind you that you've done, the mountains you've climbed, the beasts you've slayed, the inner conflicts you've conquered to get there, and that's really the true um, trophy of a journey in general is everything that you've gone through to get to that point and going forward to more. And again, when you are taking your faults, your flaws, and your mistakes, I've said this many times, you take your mess and turn it into a message for others to prevail from your journey, not from your end game, but from what you went through. And not many people see that journey, so they don't know, but you know. And if you don't know, then you're really missing out on the whole reason, on the opportunity you've been granted for it to take in your life anyway.
Yeah, there it is.
Hmm. Yeah,
He's like,
I completely agree. Like the journey is the most important part of getting there.
Yeah, so besides Niobe 3, I was also working on Latifah, and Latifah is written by Stan Berkowitz and Fahad Al-Sad. And I found out recently that Fahad was like the Prince of Saudi Arabia. And so that was, yeah, that was wild. And so that story is like a post-apocalyptic type story, and Fahad really wanted to focus on strong women because he was influenced by strong women in his life, and so Latifah is the flagship title for a series of 7 other books of other heroines within his universe, and I liken Latifah to Book of Eli. It's action, it's post-apocalyptic, and you're dealing with, except you're dealing with mutants in her story. So that's a pretty cool thing to look forward to. I finished that back in early April, and that was pretty
Hmm.
crazy because I was working on Latifah while working on Niobe, and so I was essentially, doing 2 books at once between Niobe issues 2 and 3, and
Hmm.
so you was asking me what was it like working on Niobe. I'm going through this new experience working on this series, and then working on Latifah too. So I had like 2 big clients to make happy. So
Yeah. Was that a
uh,
lot of pressure?
yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
It can't be that much pressure.
I mean, you're only working for the prince. I mean, it's not that no pressure.
Not the voodoo.
You want to make everybody happy, and you know, you just focus, time management and focus. That's why before we went on air, I was telling you that I haven't played video games for so long. All I was doing was drawing my entire waking hours, sometimes 18 to 20 hours a day.
Jeez, that's a lot of time.
Yeah,
I
man, I've been thinking about trading in both my game systems because all I do is write, trying to
I
get
don't
some
do that.
stories
The
done,
games, the
man.
games will always be there. I'm gonna have to stop right there. That's
Well, no. Like, I have a weird philosophy where I'm like, I don't really like playing video games as much because I'm playing someone else's creation when I could be making my own.
well, yeah. I, no offense.
It's a biased opinion, but
Well, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say you might be taking that a little too seriously,
I
but
do. I'm a little too much of a soapbox type of guy. I'll get up on my soapbox every now and then, so yeah,
Only every now and then.
it's my fault.
no,
I'm not gonna get rid of them. I'm too much of a gamer. I'm just talking. Overwatch is about to come out anyway, so.
no, I actually went back to the PS2 era, started playing some Dark Cloud after finishing Niobe 3.
Right on, right on. So wait, all right. What's your favorite video game? I'm gonna ask you this. What's your favorite video game?
Oh, that's hard to say. I can name a few.
All right. Name top. Let's name the top three. You know, three that come to mind immediately.
Metal Gear. I'm trying to choose between 5 and 1. I have to go back to 1. Like, 1 will always have a special place in my heart. Metal Gear 1, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, she likes Titus.
No, it's not cheese, like orange.
Yeah, right on, orange.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So all right, question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And the Ninja Storm games, I like those a lot.
But can you fight?
Yeah, I'm pretty decent in Ninja Storm.
Okay. Yeah,
That's the only
theory.
fighting game I'm good.
Awesome. So all right, so
I live in Detroit now.
So all right, I got a question for you. This is a fan question. This is what someone asked us to ask you before this show.
Are you Team Iron Man or Captain America?
That's not the question I was going to ask, but yeah, go ahead. Are you Team Iron Man or Captain America?
I have to say Iron Man, 'cause I just like the swag.
Oh, that's a good answer. I gotta say, old Iron Man did not have any swag. I don't think.
Captain America all day, man.
So what is the kindest thing a fan has ever done to you? Like done for you? Like something really cool or awesome that they did that made you be like, oh, it touched me in my heart.
Some really nice fan art. I mean, really detailed fan art that looked better than my art, you know. And I was just so honored. Like, oh, you spent all this time painting this. This is for Millennial War, like almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like really, really touched by that, you know, because it was like a master artist that took the time to do that for my little fledgling book.
Yeah. Reach into your past and grab a little element, and yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. All right. So, what is your favorite project you've worked on, like as a creator, as an independent creator? Because everyone's got this secret history of, you know, you see like Dan Slott, writer of Spider-Man. People don't know he was a colorist, a letterer, an artist at one point, like a full-blown artist, an editor for the comic before he got to being a writer. But everyone just sees the writer. So what's your favorite thing you've done since you started working, towards that goal of being a creator?
Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely Millennial War. Even though that was just like a side thing I was doing during college, I felt, you know, really, really free. You always feel more free doing your own stuff. Also, I have this book coming up, actually a graphic novel called Karaoke Blue, and that'll be released through Rosarium Publishing, and I spent the past 5 years building it, and it's so far I got about 300 plus pages of script done, and I'm planning to release the first volume sometime in the first half of next year. So anything that I do for myself, that's my favorite thing to do, most definitely.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. There's something rewarding about starting with nothing and ending with something. You know, I think that's my favorite part of the process. Is I went from nothing to something.
Make it tangible. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have something there, something that no one can take away from you at that point. So. Jay, was there something you wanted to add in there?
About what, favorite projects?
Oh yeah. What's your favorite thing about working? Like what's your favorite thing you've done so far? Like working on things.
You know, it would have to have been bringing together artists independently and working as a team. You know, going from a concept artist to the artist that sketches the pages, to the artist that inks and tones them, to the artist that like to notice that there's a production line that has been crafted by me and my approach with people to have some kind of like little comic production company, working for Infinite. To know that I've have multiple people working together toward one common goal with like the only thing in mind of just making sure the story gets done as best you can. Like I think that's my favorite part about it. Besides meeting all of, like I said, you creators and everything. That would be the biggest thing. That's been the most favorite part of me on this journey of mine. Just seeing the impacts that I made, the people that I've touched, the people that I've reached out to know that where I am now from where I thought I could never get to this point.
Most deaf.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, all right, Ashley, you kind of talked about this a little bit, but what do you do for fun when you're not drawing? Obviously, as you mentioned, you've been very busy in recent history, working on this, that, and the other. But what do you do in between those?
If I'm not gaming, I like to study Japanese. I like to go hiking. I like to. I'm pretty outgoing, so anything dealing with amusement parks or movies, but that's a bit more extreme. Like, oh, I just want to have fun. Let me go to the amusement park. But no, I don't know, on something more casual. Just watch movies. I'm pretty simple. Um, Chill with friends. Watch anime. Nothing too extravagant.
Yeah. Just kind of like low key, just kind of chill and hang
Yeah,
with a couple close people.
yeah.
Oh,
I just went
Do
to
you
an
have
art show.
plans? Do you have plans to start your own comic book story again, or another one later on when you're done with freelance work, or are you just pretty much focused on
Yeah,
establishing yourself as a creator in that way?
yeah. I was just talking about Karaoke Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I plan to release that in the first half of next year. So I
Okay.
just 300 pages of script. So I'm definitely excited about doing that.
mm-hmm. Do you want
And
to talk a little bit? Oh, go
Is
ahead.
it something that you wrote?
yeah, it's something that I wrote. I'm actually a
Okay.
writer too. More people know me for my art. Um, I don't really push my writing that much because I want to. It in a certain way. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to talk about Karaoke Blue in too much detail at this point. I just want to say that the first volume is complete as far as the script goes, and so it's going to be published through Rosarium Publishing in the first half of next year. So I can come back and talk about it in more detail, when it's more appropriate.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you back on.
Yeah.
With better internet for me.
Yeah, better internet, better, no broken legs. Yeah. Well, I hate to cut it short, but I know you, Ashley, you're on a time schedule, so we don't want to keep you too long. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we go? Anything we didn't touch upon?
Let's see. Oh, also, I'll be working with some artists from Marvel and DC on this project called Black. And Black is basically a story that takes place in a world where only Black people have superpowers. And so it was funded on Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, it sure was.
Yeah, it was funded on Kickstarter and raised 91 grand.
Oh wow.
Yeah, pretty quickly. And so Kari Randolph from We Are Robin and Robin War and Jamal Igle, who works on Supergirl and Molly Danger, they're connected to it. And so Kari reached out to me about a week or so ago, fairly recently, and asked me to join the project. So I'll be submitting a cover for that, and I'm really excited for that. So look out for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, we'll be sure to let y'all know when that comes out. Look forward to seeing something like that. Sounds like I like those the idea of community projects where people get together independent of company or what they do and they work together. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. All right, Jay, was there anything you wanted to add before we go ahead and end?
No, I was gonna say the two things to possibly for you as a person that just creates, if you're gonna be doing your own individual stories or just promoting yourself if you choose to, is there are communities out there that you're more than welcome to join. Like we have the Barrage one, and then there's like the Global Manga Initiative. Those are some other ones that are really cool to join. But it was really cool to be able to speak to somebody that has their work that has allowed them to live the life that was really meant for them. You know, being able to speak to you and then some other creators in the past, Cortland Ellis, Nicholas Draper, Mikhail. It was really cool to be able to experience a lot more people getting their dues paid for doing what they love. So it's really a great honor to know that your hard work isn't in vain and that it is paying off for you. So that's congratulations to you for sure.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, absolutely. Remember, don't forget. It's about the journey. It's not about the goal. It's about the
Right.
journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
take
be
it
fun.
all in. Be in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All
Because greatness lives within.
right. Greatness lives within. My name is my name is Joshua Harper, joined always by my esteemed co-host Jerry One Hero.
Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you're looking forward to more work from AshleyAWoods and also from our own work, Dizzy from Joshua and Infinite, the journey from me.
Yeah, and you can check out Ashley. When can they check out Niobe issue 3?
June 1st.
June
And
1st.
I'll be having an in-store sign-in, so I'll be posting information on my social media about that soon. But June 1st, Niobe 3, you can pre-order now. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and we'll be sure to include links to Ashley below. And awesome. And thank you for coming on. Ashley, it means a lot to us that you'd come onto our show.
Oh man, thank you.
All right. Well, we will see you folks hopefully next week. For the time being, tentatively there will be a podcast next week. But I just to talk about something personal really quick. As I said earlier, I broke my leg and I might be undergoing surgery. So it's up in the air whether or not there'll be a podcast next week. But hopefully there will be one.
Yeah, it depends if we can get the cybernetic limb that we need to put on his leg so he can become Bionic Josh.
Yeah. Call me Vic Stung, 'cause I'm gonna be a robot one day.
I'm gonna do a GoFundMe for that, guys. So look out for it.
Awesome. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good day.